The exhibition looks at plastic as a material, its presence, but also its history, and is structured into 3 parts. An introduction by means of a film installation by Asif Khan, Kalpa, that speaks about the present situation of plastics, of plastic pollution that we're facing. A second part that is historical, that looks at the history of plastics, and then a third contemporary part that looks at contemporary approaches to solve the problem of plastic pollution.
So the early plastics really revolved around the natural world, so animal-based and plant-based materials. So it's the likes of gutta percha, shellac, horn, tortoiseshell, ivory, for example. People were really looking to find a replacement for natural plastics because obviously they were difficult to source and there was a scarcity of materials. So interestingly, in a way, the semi-synthetics were really intended to offer a bit of a reprieve for the natural world. During the wartime, we started to see a lot of the plastic innovations for military equipment then move into the domestic sphere through nylon for dress fabrics, for example. A lot of these plastics pertain to offer, provide time-saving devices that really reduced the kind of labour in the household. Plastic in general represented a futuristic material and represented new frontiers. And that was very much embraced. And it was a time when designers were able to have a great deal of fun with the material of plastic. It offered limitless possibilities, really.
We're living in ambivalence when it comes to plastics. It's indispensable in many areas of our everyday life. So we cannot get rid of it, but we can get rid of those which are superfluous, which are single-use plastics, which are meant to be thrown away.
I think designers can help the industry to think about products that are more sustainable by being modular, by being repairable, so that you don't have to throw away the whole thing if only one component is broken. They can help to think in systems and infrastructures, systems that work with deposits so that things can be brought back by the consumers. And they are also researching in really material sciences, how to reinvent the material so that it's based on renewable resources and ideally also biodegradable.
To arrive at a more circular plastics economy, it is clear that we need to collaborate from science to design to activism, but also very importantly industry and legislation. We need to rethink our relationship with plastic, and that becomes evident in the amount of projects that are currently being developed.
Recycling is a huge part of the entire plastic discourse. I think it's also what we're most familiar with. But if you look closely, it becomes very complex and confusing right away. So the difficulty really is not necessarily the recycling process in itself, but actually knowing what the material is, what the plastic is that's being recycled. If you consider, or if every one of us started to consider plastic as a precious material and giving it new value, it will mean that we will treat it differently.
We hope to offer visitors information to also understand its evolution, the history of the material, to also better understand the future. And how we as a society, but also as individuals, might be able to influence that and to change it. So to rethink plastic as a material and to remake our world collectively.